Hi guys, welcome back to the channel, FPL Consult here, and today we're going to do the Game Week 12 team selection video. So the deadlines are hard and fast now, right, and we are going to have the Game Week 12 deadline really soon. So we'll have a deadline stream tomorrow, but let's quickly take a look at how I did for Game Week 11 and then take a look at how my team is shaping up for Game Week 12. Right, so in Game Week 11, right, nothing much to speak about. The less said the better, because I didn't do very well. Right, 42 points. I think the only positives to take from this game week was that Salah is kind of in the position that we want him to play now. He is playing in the middle through the center, and that's where we want him, because that is where the attacking threat really shines for Salah. Right, so he did score against Man City. Right, really good goal, individual goal for him. So boosting his confidence, and I think that kind of puts me a little bit ahead of the curve, because a lot of people are probably going to look to bring Salah in right now. So that is probably the only positive, right? Apart from that, I think a lot of blanks all around the team, right? So not too not too pleased with that, but going into Game Week 12, right, I actually feel like I am quite prepared for it, and that's kind of I guess why my rank took a little bit of a hit this week, because in preparation for Game Week 12, I brought in Dunk. I could have brought in maybe Doherty or maybe Kilman, right, and got that extra 6 points from the clean sheet, but I chose to prioritize Dunk because he would have a good fixture in Game Week 12 as well. So let's take a look very quickly at the transfer move for Game Week 12 before we look at the team. So with Maddison booked in the 94th minute of the Leicester game, right, he was really unlucky there and he got a yellow card for diving. So because of that, he is suspended for the Game Week 12 game, and that kind of meant trouble for us FPL managers, because what that meant was that he misses the Game Week 12 game, and then Game Week 13 onwards his fixtures aren't that good at all. Right, so it is probably time to move him on, and with my free transfer in Game Week 12, what I intend to do is to do Maddison to Trossard, right? And I did have a couple of options in this position. I could have gone for Mason Mount as well, right? Who was someone that I was considering, but I went for Trossard instead because he does have the better fixture in Game Week 12. And going for Trossard also gives me extra money in the bank, 3.4, for me to consider having the option of going for Trent in the defense, right? I could go to upgrade one of my defenders back to Trent because he is back. We saw in the last few minutes of the Liverpool game that he did play about 5 minutes of the last few of the last part of the game, right? So he could come back straight into the team from Game Week 12 or Game Week 13 onwards, and that's when we really want him for the Liverpool run as well, right? So those are some options that I do have going into Game Week 13, right? And with this extra money in the bank, I could also go for players that I do really want, like Saka and Foden as well, right? So going for Trossard in Game Week 12, right? Nottingham Forest at home, I do expect him to really bang, right? And gives me 3.4 in the bank as well. So with the transfer mate, this is how the team is looking like in Game Week 12, and I have to say I am quite confident of this team, right? A lot of people have a lot of injuries, players like Reece James, Patterson, right? Neco Williams has also fallen out of favour, right? Soufal, we don't know if he's a regular starter. Players like Emerson as well, we don't really know if he's going to start every game. So a lot of these bench enablers, there are some issues with them, but for my team, I feel like I've gone for the more stable picks, and that's kind of why I feel at this point in time I am a little bit ahead of the curve, right? I am hoping that this team can kind of boost my rank a little bit, because to get to this stage, I did have to take a few rank beatings the past few weeks to kind of set my team up for this Game Week 12. So this team looks really good. Hopefully they can score well and kind of make up some rank for me, right? So I have Pope in goal, Everton at home. I think every chance that a clean sheet comes there, right? Trippier as well for the extra Newcastle coverage, and then for the rest of the defenders, I have Zuma, Dunk, and Gehi, right? Most of them have good fixtures. Dunk has Nottingham Forest at home, right? Gehi has Wolves at home as well, right? So Zuma, he is currently yellow flagged. He is down with a little bit of a cold, right? But I don't expect to get a lot of points even if he starts, right? Because he is playing Liverpool at Anfield, right? So whether he starts or not, I'm not too worried about that, right? And then we have 4 players in the midfield. We have Zaha, Trossard, Andreas, and Salah, right? All of them really decent fixtures. And if you kind of observe, they are also all playing at home, right? So those are the fixtures I really think they all could really bang there, right? Zaha, let's hope for some returns from him against Wolves, right? Trossard as well, he is predicted to do really well this game week, and the manager did say as well that he wants Trossard to be more involved in the game, right? De Zerbi did say that he wants Trossard to be more involved in the attack, take more shots, and he wants Brighton to become the team that kind of have the attacking threat that Man City possesses, right? Obviously, they're kind of far from that from now at this point in time, right? Because Man City are kind of on a different level, right? But that is what De Zerbi is trying to achieve. And with Trossard as a midfielder playing so high up front, right, almost next to Welbeck in most of the plays, I do expect Trossard to get a lot of returns here, right? And then you have Andreas on set pieces as well. Really, expecting some returns there from him if he kind of pops off. And then we have Salah, who is kind of the main man right now. A lot of people are trying to get Salah in, but thankfully I already have him. He is playing West Ham at Anfield. Hopefully he plays in that central role as well, and that's where hopefully he can get more returns, right? And then up front, Mitrovic and Costa. Right, so now let's take a look at the captaincy rubrics, because this week, game week 12, Haaland isn't playing, right? So most of us who have left the captain's armband on Haaland for the longest time now, we will have to make a decision. So finally, captaincy is a differential this week, and let's now take a look at who the best captains for game week 12 are. So with Haaland out, game week 12 looks really interesting now, right? We do have a couple of fixtures that are kind of good for some players, and then we have the consistent ones that have been performing. The stats are really good, right? And the stats are still telling us to captain them, right? So let's still take a look at these numbers here, right? Once again, the data is taken from Fantasy Football Hub. If you are interested, the link is in the description for 30% off, right? So firstly, we have Kane up top there. He is kind of, edging Salah a little bit, right? 2 extra points. If you take a look at this score rubric right beside me, right, where we have this red column here, right, 44 points for Kane, right? So an aggregation of all his individual statistics gives him this score, and he slightly edges Salah by 2 points, right? So I think what really does it for Kane as well, right, is his consistency in the past few game weeks, right? He has been so good, right? Yes, he has gotten a couple of penalties, but that's what we get when we have Kane, right? Kane is on penalties as well. Sure, Salah is also on penalties, right? But the consistency that Kane has been showing is obviously better than Salah, right? So his expected points per 90 also, fares a little better there at 7.47, right? Projected points as well. Salah is predicted to do really well, 7.3, but Kane is just behind him at second place with 6.1, right? So that's kind of why Salah and Kane are kind of the 2 best options. And then there we have a major drop-off in score, right? Going for Son next in 28 points, very closely followed behind by Trossard in 27 points, right? So Trossard, even though he does have that Nottingham Forest at home fixture, right, the stats still tell us that if you have Son, maybe you should captain Son ahead of Trossard. Right, and then there's Mitrovic and Zaha, who I've thrown in because some people do also want to consider them as options. Right, so these are what the stats tell us. The stats tell us that Kane and Salah are the 2 best captaincy options for this week. I think even without the stats, we kind of knew that already. So if you have Kane and you don't have Salah, I'd probably captain Kane, right? And most of us would be in this situation as well. You either have Kane or Salah, right? Because Haaland would be your other premium. So I don't expect there to be a lot of 3 premium drafts out there as well, right? Those of you who do have 3 premium drafts and you have Kane and Salah, then I guess there is, a decision on your hands. But if you only have either one of them, then it just makes sense to captain either Kane or Salah, right? If you do want to go a little bit more differential, then the rest of the options are probably Trossard, Mitrovic and Zaha in that order. So, not going too fancy this week. I already have Salah and he is the best captaincy option among my players right now. So I am going to captain Salah and vice-captain Trossard. So putting the armbands on the both of them, this is how the team looks like overall, right? And I really do fancy my chances of getting a good rank rise this week, right? Hopefully some clean sheets from the players with favorable fixtures, right? And then if we can get some differential, returns from maybe Costa, who has, hasn't returned since I got him, right? But he did look really good, right? In the game week 9 game when he did come on for a cameo. Game week 10 he kind of dropped off. Game week 11 also didn't return against Nottingham Forest. But he is a major differential for me. Maybe I should have gone for Solanke instead, right? But obviously the numbers wise, Solanke is also still overperforming his expected points, right? So can't be too, statistically wise, I can't be too disappointed, right? But if Costa can return, right, that can kind of make up the points a little bit there, and also he is a mega differential for me, right? But for the rest of the players, I think pretty much I am quite happy I have them now, right? Mostly home games as well, which is something that I'm really happy about, right? So let's hope this team in game week 12 can do really well and give me a rank rise. But for now, this is all. this is all for the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Right? If you did, please give it a like and also subscribe as well if you're new around here. And I'll catch you guys in the deadline stream tomorrow, an hour just before the deadline. Right? And I'll see you guys there. Bye bye.